In this video, I'm going to talk you through the new Mixstream Pro Go from Numark. It is a groundbreaking device because this is the first DJ unit ever that's completely wireless. That means that you don't need to wire it into anything or plug anything into it to get music into it. You don't need to put speakers into it because it's got speakers built in. And you don't even need to plug it into the mains electricity because it's got a charging input to charge the built-in battery. And that makes this quite unique. And it also makes it one of the most impressive DJ units we've ever played with. And it's nowhere near the most expensive, not by a long shot. So quite an exciting device. So in this video, I'm going to talk you through the differences between this and similar gear, usually from the same kind of brand actually, because they're the only ones that have got the technology to provide this kind of built-in software. But there are other pieces of gear that are similar. We'll look at that. We'll look at how it compares to previous Mixstream Pro units because it's the third in the series of that kind of unit. And if you're brand new to DJing, you just returned to DJing after a break or something and you're wondering what's changed, wow, you really are going to have your head blown here because the answer to that question is an awful lot. So for all those reasons, whatever you're here for, let's look at the unit and answer some of those questions. So as I said, it's an all-in-one standalone unit. When you open the box, a big piece of paper falls out and says, to get music. And then the three things it suggests, only one of them mean you have to have a laptop because two of them involve simply getting on a Wi-Fi network and logging into your choice of streaming service, of which there are plenty that you can choose from on this, including Amazon Music, which is new, or logging into Dropbox to get your own music that's been pre-analyzed from Dropbox into this. And then, as I say, the third thing that they suggest is actually getting music on a USB stick or even an SD card to plug into the back of it to DJ from. So it is designed to get you going straight out of the box. All you need to add is internet and then possibly charge the battery. This one came with about 20% charge in the battery. So that's in itself really pretty exciting. It runs something called Engine DJ. That's the software you can see running on the screen here. Engine DJ has now reached version 3.0 and it's extremely powerful software. It works as your music library, logging into any services that you're in to get music or music that you've got plugged into the unit. It also lets you beat grid your music. It lets you DJ in different musical keys so you can choose whether the tracks are going to match harmonically simply by adding the key information button and then switching it around. It lets you use a sampler, it lets you control your DJ lighting. It really is pretty much as good as DJing with modern DJ software. Probably the only thing that Engine DJ doesn't do now that you see in modern DJ software is real-time stems separation. In other words, pressing a button and it'll just have the vocal playing or just the instrumental or whatever. That is yet to arrive on any gear like this. But apart from that, the software that you're looking at here can do pretty much everything you would expect of any DJ software, which is mind-blowing in itself. One of the big plus points about this unit is it runs this software and this software is constantly being updated. And even though, as you're going to hear in a little bit, I don't regard this as a pro controller, even though it's got pro in the name, this actually pushes it pretty damn close to being pro. So it runs Engine DJ software, really, really powerful, and logs into your streaming services or to your Dropbox. And that makes this whole thing, before we've even looked in more detail, brilliant value because it's hundreds rather than thousands. And as soon as you start looking at what's on the market and looking at DJ gear that is designed to give you everything that Pro gear has got, you'll find that a lot of it still needs your laptop, which is going to cost you a four-figure sum anyway for a decent one. And then the controller will cost you upwards of $1,000. So to have something in the hundreds, not the thousands, that's got everything you need built in is excellent value. And before we go any further, I have to tell you that this is hugely fun to use. Now, the difference between this and previous units is not very much. So this is the third one. The first one was called Mixstream Pro. Then they released Mixstream Pro Plus, and the only thing that changed on the Mixstream Pro Plus was that it worked with Amazon streaming as well as Tidal, SoundCloud, Beatport and BeatSource, which is what the first one and what most DJ units will work with nowadays. So that added Amazon, and then this one has added the battery. Apart from that, it really is very similar. I mean, here is the unit that originally started all of this, and they look very, very much the same, right? This one's black, they've got some slightly different styling on it, but apart from that, they really are identical, clearly come from exactly the same factory. I actually prefer the look of this one. It looks quite natty, quite nice with the grey paintwork. It's a plastic unit, but it's none the worse for that. It's well built, but that's the only real difference going on here. So what do we think of it? I've been playing with it for a little while in the studio. At the time of recording this, it's not quite released, but we've had time to mess around with it. As I say, apart from the battery, not much difference. So I'm not going to go into detail on every single button and knob and so on this. You can go and check out our original review and our reviews of the updates to the software if you want to get up to speed on those things. But I will give you, nonetheless, a little talk through what we've got here, because you might be completely new to this and wondering what's changed. Well, the answer is an awful lot's changed since the very first DJ controllers, since the first things where they tried to put everything in one box. So very quickly, what we've got here is a pretty standard layout. They've had to change the layout a little bit to fit the screen in at the top, right? Because normally your mixer goes all the way to the top. So they've pushed the buttons, the knobs rather, the bass, mid and treble and the level to the side here in order so that they're not here. And the filter knobs at the top would normally be underneath these down here somewhere. So this is a little bit non-standard, but it's not too bad. These are really good. These are your toggle switches for turning the effects on momentarily or holding them on. The effects are simplified over higher end engine gear, but nonetheless you get echo, flanger, delay and phaser, which is cool. These are the browsing and loading buttons, and this button here changes the view that you see on here. There's also a back button for moving back if you're in the library view here and navigating around there. So that's the mixer section. The decks, really nice, really nice jog wheels, which is what we've come to expect. There's no such thing as a poor jog wheel on Numark gear. They are big, they're nicely weighted, they fly around well, so they're quite good for scratching and spin backs and so on. The buttons down here, you get 4 buttons instead of 8, which you get on more expensive gear for your cues and your loops and so on. However, 4 is good, especially because there's now a heads-up display up here, which can show you what you've got all 8 set to. These are a little bit short. Normally you'd expect a bigger pitch control here. However, they're very accurate and they feel good, so a little bit of a compromise there in order to get the nice big jog wheels in. And your play, pause, cue and sync buttons here doing what you'd expect them to do. Your scratch modes here for turning, scratching on and off on the decks. Top left is the headphones, mix and volume for mixing from the cued sources to the master, and on the right we've got 2 volume controls on the right. We've got a speaker and a main, and the reason we got that is the speakers here are built in. No need to have any speakers plugged in the back, which actually is quite good because nowadays it's getting harder and harder to find speakers, even with wired inputs on them, with line inputs that haven't got some kind of delay, because they've got DSPs. So if you buy a Bluetooth speaker and you think, oh, it's got a line in, that should be all right with my DJ gear, not so fast. Often there's a bit of latency on those. And that's another thing that trips beginners up. You know, this unit is making it easy for beginners because Wi-Fi equals music, and you've also got speakers built in, which sound pretty good. They're at the front, which, as I mentioned on our original review of this, is a little bit strange because this is kind of where your hands want to rest, but they've thought about that. The grills, you're not going to harm the grills by touching the unit here. And they're loud enough, certainly for practicing at home, surprisingly bassy, and probably for a tiny party. I mean 2 or 3 people in your living room after you come back from the pub or whatever. Anything more than that, you're going to want to plug speakers in at the back. Speaking of the back, let's have a look round there. So round here we have got some XLR outputs. That's a pro kind of output, which is good. We've also got our standard outputs. Here's just a main RCA left and right. Again, this is pretty pro. You can plug 2 USBs in, but also you can plug in an SD card. Now, SD cards are great because it goes all the way into the unit, which means it's safe and you can keep all your music on there. There's another reason you might want to do that, which we'll talk about in a minute. This is a USB for a computer. This is important because there's 2 modes here on the newest engine software, which let you use this. And one of the most important things you can do with this is plug in to use other software such as Serato and Virtual DJ, but you can also plug straight into your laptop and then DJ from an engine collection on your laptop. So I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in a minute. However, it's good that you can do that because it's something that you could do on Pioneer DJ gear when they've got standalone gear that you can plug a laptop into. You've never been able to do it on engine, you can now. It just means you don't have to export to a USB drive and plug into the back of there just in order to play from your collection. Just plug your computer in, play from your collection, which is a bit different to DJing from software. But you can DJ from software from this anyway, because Serato is due very soon for this, and Virtual DJ, if not now, then again very soon. So there's 2 software platforms that you can DJ on with this as well. So that's kind of a tour of everything you need to know about the unit, except round the front there's a microphone input socket and your headphones, which have got 1/4 inch and also 1/8 inch. For those of you that haven't seen this software before though, let's just take a little bit of a deeper look at what goes on the screen here, because I've already shown you the library view and the view of your decks here, you can actually hold down the shift button here and hold the view button, which will switch you through to this view here where you've got your decks laid out horizontally. A lot of DJs prefer that, so you have two choices of what you can do there. But what I wanted to give you a bit of a idea about is just how much is built into this, because I was talking to you about key earlier. You see I can tap on here and I can move through the keys of my songs, so I can make them match each other here. There's a key sync as well, so you can just let that do that for you. When I pull this down, look at all the stuff you've got here that you would expect to find on software, you now have on built-in software, on embedded systems, on this embedded system anyway. Quantize, you've got continuous, you can play through a whole playlist. Stop time, so you get a nice vinyl slur when you slow the track down. Crossfader on off, crossfader contour control, effects toggle, beat grid edit. You can do proper beat gridding on here, even with difficult tracks nowadays. Split cue, so many people want split cue on DJ controllers, where the master comes down one headphone and you get the cued output on the other one. You've got that here. Performance pads here. Now you've got all your sources here that you can select from, so Amazon, Beatport, BeatSource, SoundCloud and Tidal. You do need to pay, of course, if you want to use these here. Also the sampler, they've got some sample content and demo tracks going on there. And then we've got all this stuff here as well. So in your user profile, and this is one thing I don't actually like very much about this, the font gets really, really small when you're in here. It's better on the slightly bigger 10-inch screens that you get with the bigger controllers that use this system, but hey, once you set this stuff, you can forget it. And I also have some pretty tired old eyes, so your experience might vary. Anyway, in here, look, all this stuff we've got here. We've got default speed range for the pitch faders. We've got sensitivity of nudging, so you can set that how you want it. 3 ways of using the sync button. We've got pitch bend or pitch range for the pitch buttons there. And then moving through, lots of settings for cues and loops and quantization. Different ways of setting the display up to show what you want it to do. Safety features like not letting you accidentally load a track onto a deck that's already playing. Library features here, so you can set, for instance, the format of the key that's going on here. Also, you can set how it recommends tracks to you, how strict its criteria are when it's doing that. And then in the main settings here, all kinds of stuff that you can change here as well. And scrolling through, you can see there's an awful lot here to get it exactly how you want it. So they have thought about a lot of stuff here to give you almost everything you get in software, but in something that's embedded. No need to plug a laptop into the unit at all. So let's just sum up what we think about this. It's really, really powerful. This software is, every time I look at it, it blows me away. I just remember how good it is. You can control your home lighting from it. So you can have like Hue lights, if you've got Philips Hue, that kind of lighting system. Nano leaf lights you can control from here as well. It's got a button here that you can press in order to go into the lighting mode. But you can also, with a subscription and a little piece of extra hardware, a little dongle, you can control full DJ lights, full DMX lights from here as well. Which is absolutely mind-blowing that this software put into here can do all of this. So the software is nuts. The software is absolutely fantastic. The idea that you can completely DJ on this, completely DJ just buying this unit and maybe having a subscription to Tidal or whatever, it's not quite there. It isn't quite there yet. The reason is that it's still better to use your laptop and to analyze your music first and then export it to an SD card or USB in order to get the most from the unit. It's easier for organizing your playlists. It's just not quite there yet. And also, streaming services are a little bit clunky on the way they work compared to your own music in a few ways. And it would take me a while to go into them now, but just trust me on that. DJing with streaming services is not quite there compared to DJing with your own music. And of course, you need Wi-Fi when you're DJing for that to work. Also, quite interestingly, if you do work on your tracks in a streaming service, so for instance, when you're on your laptop, like I am here, you can analyze your tracks, you can put cues and loops and beat grids and so on them. When you've done that work with a streaming service logged into here, in order for it to remember everything that you've done, you do need some kind of storage plugged in. So around the back, this is another reason why I like using an SD card with it, because an SD card can stay plugged in around the back here permanently without kind of falling out or whatever, right? So once that's plugged in, it's kind of in, and you can forget about it. You need that there because that's where it remembers the work you've done on the streaming tracks. So it's not 100% standalone, not quite, not yet. It certainly is for messing around, but you are going to want to have a laptop for analyzing your music, getting your music and organizing your music. Like I say though, it's getting close, especially because you can put your own music into Dropbox and log into Dropbox from this, so you can DJ over Wi-Fi from the cloud with your own music. It doesn't have to be streaming. It's getting beguilingly close to being a full on standalone system. So very, very clever how far they've managed to push this, and they're pushing it all the time. The software is changing all the time, so expect this software to continue to develop. I mean, it's called the Mixstream Pro Go. So is it Pro? No, it isn't Pro. It's a plastic unit. It doesn't have auxiliary inputs, for instance. The microphone isn't routed in any way meaningfully through the software or through the effects or whatever. It is a consumer unit, but I'll tell you what, pros will definitely love this. And compared to cheap DJ controllers, it must feel pro, right? Because you've got this software is absolutely incredible. It's the same software running on the pro units that use Engine DJ, exactly the same software. So you're getting pretty much everything you get on the pro units, but on a unit that again costs hundreds, not thousands. So no, it isn't actually pro, but I'll tell you what, it's damn close. And as I say, pros will love it. It is, to me, the culmination of something that I've been wanting to see for a long time. So those of you that know Digital DJ Tips and were following us through lockdown will know that in lockdown, I did something where I took a DJ controller and went out and about on my own, of course, socially distanced, and I just wanted to DJ from different places just to kind of like keep my sanity. And I actually used this unit here. This unit here is from Denon DJ. It's called the Denon DJ Prime Go. Look familiar? That's because this is exactly the same as this. The software that this one runs is exactly the same, Engine DJ. And as the software's developed, this unit's been updated as well. So it's running exactly the same software you can see on this one. This is a real marvelous unit. It's professional. It's got professional inputs and outputs. This is genuinely pro. It is made of metal. This one's made of plastic. But this one here misses something. It's got the battery. Great. No speakers built in. And then they launched the original Mixstream, the one I showed you a second ago, this one here. And this one's marvelous. Got the speakers, no battery built in. I remember when they launched this, I said to them, why don't you do a battery version? Well, they have. And so to me, this is kind of the culmination. This is the Mixstream Pro plus the Prime Go, the one I held up, the Denon DJ one, kind of melded together in one unit that won't break your bank and has got everything in it. It's got battery, it's got Wi-Fi music, it's got lighting control, built-in speakers, it's got the ability to work with top grade DJ software. Serato and Virtual DJ are two very, very good platforms. As I say, they are imminent for this. And the software is always being developed. So you're getting, in this, one of the cheapest units that work with Engine DJ, you're getting all the stuff that they add to this platform as they go along. For instance, I've heard rumors that this kind of dark look is going to be complemented with the equivalent of a, you know, when you can press a button on your computer and switch between light and dark mode, day and night mode. There's going to be a light mode, I've heard rumors, and that means that this will be much better when you're DJing outdoors, like at pool parties and barbecues and so on, where there's a lot of sunshine around. So you are getting a platform that is constantly being updated. I think this is brilliant value. I think this is the most fun DJ unit I've seen in many, many years. And I think for a lot of people, professional or otherwise, you're going to want this. It's not designed to work as your only pro unit in a nightclub or as a mobile DJ or whatever. It does lack a few things for that, but in a lot of other ways, it's exceedingly pro. It's excellent, and we really enjoyed playing with it and reviewing it. So if you're after something that can pretty much do it all and that won't break your bank, you should take a close look at the Mixstream Pro Go, the latest unit in the Mixstream series, and the third one following on from the Mixstream Pro and the Mixstream Pro Plus. Now we've got prices and we've got more detail on this in the written review, which you'll find a link to underneath this video, or maybe you're watching it embedded in the review, so just read on. Either way, I hope you found this useful, and if you've enjoyed this and if you'd like to learn more about how to DJ from us, we are the world's leading online DJ school. We work with tutors such as Jazzy Jeff, James Hype, Laidback Luke, DJ Angelo, and many more. So if you are interested in learning from me, from my team, or from any of those DJs, the first thing you should do is come and join the website. We'll give you a copy of our book, Rock the Dance Floor, the #1 selling book on Amazon on how to DJ, as a thank you gift just for becoming our latest member. And it's really easy to join, and best of all, it's free. So head over to digitaldjtips.com and click the big join button somewhere near the top of the page. Until next time then, this is Phil Morse in the Digital DJ Tips studio saying get good, get out there, make the moments, and if you decide to go for the Mixstream Pro Go, enjoy your new DJ unit. I think you'll love it. Till next time then, bye-bye.